Let's be real. Doing business with your friends can be a challenge. This week, we are getting into friends and business. Do the two go together? How do you work it out? How do you mix it? We all seen what happened with the Joe Budden Podcast. And this week on Textually Active, we want to talk about it in real life scenarios. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a new episode of Textually Active.
Textually Active.
Not to be confused with the show that we do on Friday called The Text Thread. You can check that out live on YouTube and Twitch. I'm Rez, and I'm back for another episode. I got Meezy with me.
That was a wild ass plug.
You gotta plug your shit, yo. You gotta let people know what's going on.
Wow.
You gotta let people know. E is on the boards.
Yep.
And we're here for another week to talk about relationships, friendships, and all the other ships in between. Let's kick it off. How y'all feeling?
It's Friday. Another day.
Yeah, it's
Did I say
Friday.
Friday? I meant to say it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. Woo.
Oh, God, yeah.
Such an awkward day of the week.
Such a day of the week.
Almost hump day.
Woohoo.
Yeah,
So close to hump day.
It's been so long.
This weekend was so crazy.
Yeah, I had a birthday.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday.
Ain't today your birthday?
Nope. My birthday was yesterday.
Oh, it's Monday. Sorry,
Happy
my bad, my bad.
birthday.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, God.
Woo.
We celebrated before his actual birthday.
Yeah, we had a great time.
I be forgetting. Hold that as a detriment that I don't know my friends and their birthdays.
You do know birthdays.
It's what you use Instagram for.
Right. No, actually, does
what you use.
Instagram tell you when their birthday
That's
is?
what you use Facebook for.
When you look at your archive and it pop up that post and it shows you what you posted, like, that's how you can remember.
I always go to Facebook for the resource, but
Shit difficult.
About page.
I've started putting it in my calendar so people know. So I know when it's somebody's birthday and I can keep up with it.
I don't like that many people to do all that.
I mean, it's important to manage your friendships, especially if you're going to, do other things with them. I think we learned that valuable lesson last week. You not following? Okay. Friends and business? Ring any bells?
You want to jump right into this?
I mean, we here. We said we feeling good. He got a birthday. I'm good. You good? Let's talk about it.
We didn't really. All right. I mean, managing friendships is probably the thing, but I mean, in order to manage friendships, you gotta know your friends well enough to know what kind of shit that they into.
You got to pay attention to the signs. Sometimes your friends will show you red flags. And if you ignore them long enough, they're going to show themselves.
See what I'm saying? And so today's topic would be friends and business.
Yeah. When the money comes, will the honey stay?
Oh, good job. Pachangas. I like it. Pachangas.
Got you.
That was the one Fab song I really like.
He got some vibes.
That's one of the ones I like.
He
The
got
B
some
side that I really like. Pachangas. Mm-hmm. But we saw some of the
fall of a
fall of a dynasty on the timeline, and for
The end of
everybody-
an era is what they calling it.
Yeah, I was gonna wear my shirt today, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna hold it for a little bit just to see. Yeah. We watched the demise of the Joe Budden Podcast, and
as we knew it, right? As we knew it so far. A lot of things were said. A lot of loud and yelled and angry things were said. It got a little personal even between friends and business partners, and got us to thinking like, bro, we do a podcast as friends and as business partners, and we tried to figure out like, what is it like to actually do that? And today we kind of want to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, our experience with it. I think, we all saw it coming, but I saw it coming. I was listening back last year, probably like towards the end of the year, and just noticed the engagement between Joe and Rory and Mal, how they were showing up like they just didn't care anymore. And it was almost like, one person is upbeat and happy to be there and talking about the topics, and then the other people are just like, man, we here. Our check going clear. It is what it is. And then it was a little tension between friends, but the thing that sells a podcast or anything that you do creative with your friends is like the chemistry. I think that's one of the major benefits of working with friends is that you have that familiar essence with each other and you kind of just know how you vibe and you're able to put that on the mic. So when I saw that tension between them, I was like, ooh, something ain't right. And then something happened, it kept unfolding, and then they got to this point. And like you said, it got us to the point where we think about it like, what is our experience being business partners and friends? And then on the flip side, what's my experience being being involved in EA's business and being his fiance, because that's another part to it. That's another layer. Yeah. Yesterday when he came home and he wanted to continue the conversation after our meeting, I was like, I'm talking to Bae, right? Like the business Bae is gone, right? Like it's a hat that you got to put on and take off. And if you aren't transparent in both avenues with the friendship and the business partnership, it can taint a relationship. I think Roy went on See the Thing Is podcast and he said it best. He's like, when you're in business with friends and stuff starts to go bad, you either leave the business and keep the friend or just lose both. It's no way to keep both of them.
Yeah, I think that's true. But I mean, in the beginning, you've got to start off as a collective. You know, like you gotta understand who and what business you getting yourself into it. Like, are there people who feel the exact same way about what we might do together? Like, you can't just randomly go get somebody off the street and say, hey, I think you sound good on a podcast, and put somebody on the podcast.
No.
You gotta know that this is what they want to do. Because I always tell people come to me all the time and be like, yo, I want to start a podcast. And I want to start a podcast. What should I do? And I always tell them, bro, you got to want to do it. Like, this ain't like every time. The shit that used to make me the angriest would be people knew that we did a podcast. And so every time they seen us, if they met us near where we recorded or they seen where the mics was, they would always say, oh, let's do
a podcast. Or they catch us after we do the podcast.
Like, turn the mics on, let's do a podcast. And it's like, bro, that's not how that goes. Like, we do this every week. I don't want to just randomly talk today.
Right. And there is planning and preparation that goes into it. So you don't just come in here and turn on the mics and me and you are talking about business and podcasting just on a random day. No, there's preparation. It's production.
So you gotta know what who your friends are and what their interests are, and if they align with yours. Because these motherfuckers, they have a vision for business who's very more business minded than other people. Like even in our situation, I think, we put a lot of the business acumen on E, and a lot of times I tell people I'm just talent. Like, I'm creative and talent. I don't care about when a lot of people come to me because they see that I'm the guy, and I tell them to talk to E about it because that's not what I do. Like, I'm not thinking about how to make this a business. I'm really just trying to make the best content I can make.
But everybody has to play a role. Even if you think about it from a business aspect, you have the creative part, you have the marketing, you have the business financial mindset, and that all plays a part in making the business run. I think when you mix friendship in it, you have to have a consistent base.
Well, there's no way to separate the two.
But you need to have a base. Like, this is our home base. This is our foundation. This is where we go when we need to figure out what the hell is what, which way is up, which way is down. And this is where we talk about anything that may be going wrong or maybe going right. You can't just float in the air like, oh, that's my friend business. No, it has to be two separate entities. And then there is a base where you go and, yo, I'm switching my hat right now. We're going to talk about business. I'm switching my hat right now. We're going to talk about the podcast. I'm switching my hat. We about to have fun. It's Sunday Fun Day.
Why can't there be a separation? Why do you think that?
Everything ain't funny when you talk about business. It's some things that you want to do creatively that I don't want to do, or it's some goals that I have that you don't that don't align with yours.
Right.
And as friends, the normal reaction is to try to compromise. But in business, you have to come up with a clear plan about what we're going to do. So that's why I think it needs to be two separate hats, because when we're talking about business, it's like, how can we get to the point where we are pushing the business forward still? And then when we're talking about friendships, it's like, how can we maintain friends?
I think it's because nobody ever separates the two. And because when you separate the two, one or the other lacks.
Yeah.
If I continue to tell you no as a friend, it affects the business. If I continue to tell you no as a business partner, it's going to affect the friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody ever gets a chance to separate it. If you come to me in our business and asking me for my decision, and I'm not with what you're presenting me with, as a business partner, when I say no, I don't know if you might come back to me later and be like, "You remember what I was telling you?" Like, come on,
over
bro.
a beer.
Like, come on, bro.
Come on, bro. I was just saying that. Just saying. I'm trying to
like, when do you turn it off? Like,
right.
When we come in here and do this podcast, we can talk about the podcast. But it's a lot of times we may be drinking, hanging out, having a great time, and an idea come like, boom, let me tell you now because I got you right here.
Right.
Like, not wait until Thursday when y'all have a business meeting and you tell a motherfucker like, oh no, I came up with this idea. No, it came to me now. We're in a friend setting. Let me just run it by you. And I think a lot of times people don't separate it. And it's hard to, because the foundation of that relationship is built on friendship. Mm-hmm. It's not built on business.
Yeah.
It's built on, I came to you with ideas when we didn't have a business.
Mm-hmm.
And I still want to be able to come to you with my ideas as a friend without it having to be business. And now that we in business together, now it feels like everything I come to you has to like have a value, a money value, or a creative value to.
I also think that podcasting, you say you don't think it before I go into mine?
Yeah, I don't agree.
With what?
I think that there's ways to separate the two. You know what I mean? Like, the thing is, I mean, I think what happens is that when it comes to the main difference when it comes to business is that there's like this formality behind it, right? There's like, we have to, you know, I think everyone has like an idea of what business looks like. You know what I mean? And they don't think it's the same thing as if me and you're just kicking the shit or something like that. But the thing is, like, you can, the same way you can have a serious conversation as a friend that is not business related, I feel like you should be able to do the same thing. It's the same token. Like, you can talk to some of your friends about something serious and you guys can have an honest conversation about it and then agree to disagree or whatever the case may be.
But I don't think that ever happens. I don't think when people have conversations with their friends about serious shit, it usually is something that doesn't involve the other person.
Okay, so it's coming to them to tell you about something that they experience either at work.
So yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So when it becomes us as just people, we try to avoid the awkward conversations that we have with each other. Like, I can't come. We won't ever have the conversation of, I don't like what you did to me. What usually happens is I just ignore it until one time we get into a major blowout about something. I then bring it up. And in business, it is impossible to do that because this usually means money, positive, negative. You know what I'm saying? We need to address this now. And because the way we set up to look at you as a friend, I don't want to blow this thing up and have to now divide this whole thing up.
Yeah. Business kind of, you don't really have a choice but to address what the problem is.
And if you're not used to addressing it like that in business, like, it's a lot. I don't know that many people that have positive businesses with their friends.
I think, like E was saying, the idea of business is so structured for me, where it's like suit and tie, briefcase, financials, accountant, managing the money and all of those things. But I think when you get into an industry like podcasting with your friends, and the Textually Active is more than podcasting. Of course, we do other things, but I think podcasting adds another layer to it, because we sit here every week for 5 hours, do what we got to do, and then we leave. And that can be confused with bonding time or friend time.
Exactly.
And honestly, sitting here on this mic with you is work, and we do have that chemistry and we do vibe, but it's work. It's not to be confused with us hanging out outside of it. Right. That's why I always make it a priority to do something with you, to check on you, see how you doing. Because if we can't maintain things as a friendship and keep that bond together, when we come here on this mic, it's going to show. And I think that's probably the challenge that they had on their network doing their podcast.
They stopped hanging out.
Huh?
They stopped hanging out.
Yeah, they stopped hanging out. They stopped doing the extra things. They just was like, we come into this mic, and then assumed that means that you're still friends.
A group chat don't mean y'all still friends.
No, because the group. Listen, what's going on in the group chat? Yo, here's the thing for today. This is what we talk about.
See, it's an email chain now.
We good for this meeting. Yeah.
Pretty much an email chain at that point.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy to think, like, I remember, like, I've even heard, like, Jeezy's old guy say, like, fam, there was a time, like, that's my guy. Like, he's, like, my friend. Like, I knew him before all of this. But when shit start, when money get involved, this is when shit just changes. Everything. And when money get involved, I think it's honest. I think more money, more problems is a real phrase.
Okay. So more money, more problems. I know we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and we were like, nah, if I had more money, I'd be great.
No.
But that's just in the sense of individually.
I believe what we said was money can bring you happiness.
Right.
It don't negate that you're not going to have problems. You just go, it's just easier to handle problems. Mm-hmm. And I think money, more problems means this podcast started bringing in a shitload of money. The problems then become, what do we do with this money? Is everybody getting their equal share of money? Things that we've never had to talk about before. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't usually have to talk about who owns what, whose job is what. It's just, fam, I need you to do this. Can you do this? Will you do this? That's it. But when you add business and money involved, it then becomes, well, I need ABC to keep doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you used to do for free, you no longer can do for free. Mm-hmm. When it becomes business. And it's not even like running a business with your friend. If I need a video edited with E, I can't go to E as a friend and say, yo, bro, can you do this?
No, it's going to be
it becomes a transaction. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I think we got to leave this is my friend, I know I can get it for free. I think this is a conversation that we had. Unless your friend says, yo, you my dog, I'm going to do it for free. Don't go in there with your wallet out. Don't start reaching when they start bringing up the money part.
So, text alert. You can't get no discounts.
Sure can't.
You can't get it for free.
You cannot.
If I sold out, I sold out.
And that's just that.
So what I will say, when it comes to the free part, it's not always the case, right? Something that I learned is that the no discount thing is a fact.
Right. My price is my price.
My price is my price. But I have learned that at least in my area, right, that you should either do it for full price or do it for free, right? Because when you give someone a discount, they don't appreciate the value, right? And then ultimately, if I do something for free, it's because I genuinely I see where this is going and I want to do it.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So that's like, I feel like that's where when you say free, it's like a little star on
right.
on the top.
But I also
But to add on to that about the money piece, is, do you think that it helps when there are predetermined documents to say that this is your duty, this is how much you're going to make for doing your duty, and this is what's going to happen when we start getting money, this is what we're going to use our money for? Do you think that helps, or do you think that hurts it? Because I think it hurts it.
I think it's a matter of both, because it then becomes it's really a timing thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's really a timing thing, because if my duties is to come in here every week with a baby maker, right. So then our podcast blow by nowhere, then labels start sending me songs to be played for baby makers, right? And they also start paying. You know, I'm an influencer now, and they start paying for that. Am I entitled to give the podcast a cut? Because they came to me, and this is what I was doing anyway. Or do I just not say nothing and keep the money to myself? So it becomes a thing where how the money comes and how the money like, if I got paperwork to say, hey, your job is just to come in and do the baby maker, make sure you come in ready to work. Okay, I'm still satisfying what that paperwork says. So I'm just not splitting the funds with the people.
So this is what I'll say in that particular instance, right? I feel like
these are just hypotheticals.
Yeah, it's hypothetical. Right? Like
that shit sound wild though. I ain't even gonna hold you. That shit sound wild. I'm gonna just say this right now. That shit sound wild. What? The label hit you up on the side and said what? And you ain't bring it to the table to break bread? That's crazy.
But why would I?
Because there's something that we're doing on this platform.
I'm still fulfilling my duties.
I know, but now you've opened up an avenue of revenue that comes to the podcast. So if there is no longer a podcast for you to play your baby maker to put their music on a platform, then would they still pay you?
I now have to figure out something else.
But would they still pay you?
Probably.
Because they're coming to Textually Active to have it played on Textually Active.
So then I think that's where the question becomes.
No, but this is where I'm saying, this is where I kind of jumped in that hypothetical, is that we kind of discussed from the beginning that any deals for that involve the podcast should come through me. That was always kind of been like our conversation about that.
Business mind.
And it's mainly just so that like it's one door in, one door out.
I got a business degree too. I mean, they could come to me if they want to talk about it.
I mean, but everyone has their role.
Yeah. So no, but everybody got their role. That is usually where problems come.
I think, that's a great example, because those are things that aren't originally set up.
Yeah.
So
you never know because it's timing.
I don't think there's a way to prepare for what could happen.
Exactly.
It's all a matter of, we have this contract set in place, but who knows 3 years later what might happen, and somebody still feel like they doing more of the work and they deserve more. How are you supposed to justify somebody thinking that they deserve more without being able to look at the bigger picture?
Fam, let's just take this out of this context. If we ran a business making t-shirts, and you bought all the t-shirts, and I bought all the printing material, who deserves more of the cut?
I'm of the belief that if something wouldn't be able to get done to sell this product, then that's worth the same amount. Like, if you putting out money, I could give money anywhere, but without giving money to you to do the printing, the business is not sustainable. So if we're both equally putting in parts, I think we both deserve some type of cut. Now the splits is where it gets where you got to have the conversation. If I'm putting out all my money and I feel like I want my money back, I need to say that up front. Like, I'm putting up more money, so I think I should have more ownership over this. And that needs to be brought to the table to have a discussion. Is that discussion going to be comfortable? Probably not. Because Mr. Printy going to feel like, well...
Bitch, I go to Printify and do this for a little bit cheaper than what you charge. What we're being charged.
I can go to Print It Up Shop and run this up.
That nigga Custom Tees be getting a lick off.
Right.
And on the low, I've been watching some of you niggas.
They nasty.
You niggas ain't slick.
They being nasty.
Some of your favorite t-shirts are not printed in high quality, and don't let them tell you that anything different.
Yeah, so I think that's the part where it does get tricky. More money, more problems, because you don't know until that situation is brought to you. Yeah. And you would love to know. The good part about going into business with your friends is that you feel like you know them, right? The thing that gets a little tricky is what money. I know you broke, but do I know you with money?
Do I know you successful?
Right.
Do I know you as somebody that has never been in a space? Mm-hmm. Like,
are you that nigga that's going to go to the restaurant and start getting flashy? You doing your spread everywhere you pull up. You doing it at the gas station. You doing your spread.
Like, bro, like I'm literally thinking about, like, people I know who started out as friends and business got very successful that are no longer together.
Right.
They're like, it's a lot of these stories. Like, even the niggas, like, you even take the niggas that are extremely wealthy. When the last time you seen Bill Gates and Steve Baldwin together? Them niggas started Microsoft. They are in 3 separate places. Like, success separates you from your friends, no matter what. And, like, nigga, Russell and at some point Russell and Rick Rubin stopped being together. Hov and Dame. You barely, when you see them in a picture, you get excited because you didn't know that was possible. Like, it's a lot of shit that's like Kanye and Jay-Z you haven't seen together in a long time. Like,
Trina and that Kardashian girl. Trina and Khloe Kardashian.
Oh,
they were cool.
They had a business.
And then French came in.
I don't think that's business.
Okay. That's the wrong thing. All right. Well, they stopped being cool, though.
I mean which is a Chloe thing, because...
I got one.
You pick bad
Kim
niggas.
and Paris.
That's not a business.
They were working together.
The thing is, well, Kim...
She was her employee.
Yeah, Kim worked for Paris.
Not the same.
That actually falls back into the Joe Budden thing.
Yeah. That does.
I mean, how can you label people employees? Can you label your friends employees?
Sheesh.
Contractors, employees, whatever.
Do your friends work for you? I think that's a conversation people don't have.
I work for my fiance.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you get away with a lot of stuff?
I mean, well, I'm a contractor. Yeah, I do. I show up, I take a break.
Do you take the advantage? Let's just have a real conversation here. Do you take advantage of that being your fiance?
What do you mean? When I show up to do work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
That's going to HR.
Oh shit! This is on camera. No. My relationship is completely professional. I do the job that I am employed to do, or contracted to do, and when we get home, it's a completely different. So no, I don't take advantage. Absolutely not.
That is pure shit. Pure shit.
Bullshit. Yeah, because it's a level of, we do, it's a little, and we, so I could get away with a little bit more.
But
I could slide.
Why?
Because, that's my man. But it's not okay. Okay, if we're gonna keep it 100, it's not okay because you trusted me to do this, and you expect it to be done.
Because nobody else would treat you this way,
right?
Like nobody would let you.
Man, if we think about work, like that's a friend doing business with friends is way better than going to work and doing a job.
Is it?
I think so.
I don't think so because
you don't have to code switch. You can make your own ideas. You are most times the boss of whatever you guys have going on, and you just control it. Like I like that.
I also believe at your job you may never have to have an incident about pay unless payroll fuck up. But you know what your rate is every time.
I think you do have an issue with pay at work because they don't ever want to pay you what you worth.
They not paying you what you...
When it's 3 years in and they ain't never give you no raise.
I feel like you can have this exact same conversation with family and friends.
Or your raise is like 2 cents.
I feel like family and friends lowball people the most.
When they bring you on and they talk about, we could give you $50,000, but they really got $80,000 for the position.
I feel like friends and family lowball you the most.
Right. So yeah, you do have a problem with money in both.
I mean, but you don't have to. I don't have to go to work, get mad at what happened at work, and then take it home with me and still be mad because I'm looking at the person that pissed me off.
And then go home and try to turn it off. Like, oh yeah, baby.
There's no way to turn that off, bro. Like, if I got mad at you at work, common people that work a 9 to 5 or a regular job get mad at their boss and go home still angry. Now imagine that your boss is the motherfucker that sleep beside you every night. Imagine y'all rode to work together that day. There's no turning that off.
I'm not too good to send her back home in an Uber.
Send me back home in an Uber, huh?
See, now look, this is hypothetical, and look at you being a little upset about it.
Send me back home in an Uber. Just you can go ahead and take the day off for us.
What job ever sent you home in an Uber? If you couldn't get there, you couldn't get there. Nigga, we had a gas shortage, and I seen a motherfucker say, my employees think I'm not going to write them up because there wasn't no gas. They mistaken.
Shit. Shit.
That's what you mean, bro.
Shit.
Don't nobody give a fuck about you.
Yeah, I still think I have, but my viewpoint is from a very different viewpoint. Like, we do TA together and then we do stuff at the agency together. Yeah. But I like the flexibility to be able to just have that flexibility as opposed to having like a structured, like, this is your duty, this is what you do, and then I don't reap anything outside of that, like going to work day to day, 9 to 5. But at least here, and it makes me, I feel like I do a little bit better in my personal endeavors than I do in going to work every day, because I know that whatever work I put in is working towards a bigger goal, which is going to get us out of the situation that we're currently in. Oh. So all jokes aside, I do go to work and do my damn thing. I mean, you know, but
I treat all jobs the same, especially if I'm tendered.
What do you mean? Like TA versus job versus...
If I can show up late, I'm going to show up late.
Okay. Yeah. If you could take a break, you going to take a break?
I can take a break, I can take a break.
If you could lay down and do it, you going to lay down and do it?
I can come to work drunk.
I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna come to work drunk.
No, I give the same amount of effort for work, but I feel like I'm a little bit more comfortable doing it for myself than I am doing it for other people in their business. Just because, like, at least when you're working with family and friends, you never have to guess. I feel like sometimes there are days when you go to work and there are conversations being had about you and your work ethic without you knowing about it, and it has to go through a chain before it gets to you. At least when I go to work with my friends or my fiance, I know where we stand. Like, he gonna tell me he not happy about the cover not being done, or us coming in and the topic not being what the topic was supposed to have been. You know? It's just a level of transparency that you don't get working for the white man.
I don't be treating none of that shit as... I don't be treating this shit as a job. Maybe that's my problem.
What do you feel like it is then?
So the conversation that we should be having is something you said earlier about them showing up. The Joe Budden Podcast, they were showing up and unhappy, whatever, just showing up and doing this. And I feel like that is where it becomes the issue, because once you make this a job, it's no longer as fun as it used to be.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You come in and you have to do this. It becomes something you have to do. And I think with friendships, it's impossible to do that. I can't call out of here. Today, I didn't feel like being here. It was a moment of transparency. I didn't feel like doing nothing. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave my couch. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to leave the house.
The new one?
Oh, the new one. Bag's still coming in from somewhere. I didn't want to leave. Point blank, period. And in a world where last week where I said we don't like, we only love fake positivity. In a world where I should take a mental day for myself, I didn't have to run that by somebody. With a 9 to 5, I just call out. Fuck them. They figure out who gonna fill in, whatever. Do whatever you need to. But a job that I do like this becomes
with friends.
Even if y'all say, okay, we now have to pick a new day to record. We now have to pick a new day to do all of this. And who knows if tomorrow's a better day for me, the day after that's a better day for me. I don't get a chance to say that because the show must go on. It must always go on. You know what I'm saying? And that was a conversation you don't really get to have with friends. I couldn't get all the t-shirts printed out last night because my kid got sick. And I had to take care of my kid all night.
I think the responsibility falls on you. Whereas if you call out at a job, it's just they gonna figure it out.
Exactly.
But instead of you call, like if you were to call out here, we have to figure it out. Like it brings more people into it, and it kind of makes you like, because there are days I come here and I'm like, or I wake up and I'm like, shit, I'm really not feeling this. Like having the meetings, I really don't feel like sitting on here with y'all for 2 hours, and then you gotta come home. And we still gotta kick it, you know. And it's not like I don't want to kick. I love kicking it with my nigga, but like, dang, now I gotta flip the switch because you just got on my nerves a little bit on that call.
Exactly.
So yeah, I definitely understand that.
Yeah.
That is a level of it that makes it challenging.
It's challenging
because you don't like. I never want to get to the point where I don't enjoy coming in here and speaking to y'all. Like that's something that's internal, but it goes into the drive. Are we both passionate about having our voices heard? Are we both passionate about the movement that we created with the Textually Active? Or like, is it something that we just don't give a fuck about? I think when we stop giving a fuck, that's when it's time to have a conversation that we got to pivot. But if you don't have that conversation, then you sit up there like Rory and Joe.
But I feel like it's too late.
What you mean?
Maybe it's too late.
I mean, at the beginning of the episode, it's the same thing. It's like,
it's too late though. It's no way to express to your partners, your employees. I don't even know because their situation is different because that is one person seeing this as a partnership and one person seeing this as I own this and y'all work for me type thing.
mm-hmm.
Like in our case, it's like a 3-headed monster, like I've always said. Like it's 3-headed monster.
Brain trust.
Yeah, and so like most things become motherfuckers don't ever take the time to legitly make a business. Let's say that. It is just something we do on the side. We do this on the side. We make t-shirts on the side. We cook together. You make a good yam. I fry chicken well. Let's put it together. We're going to get together. We're going to sell plates on the weekend. It's not legit business. It's just something we do. And so when it gets time to be like, yo, motherfuckers not listening. They not showing up to buy plates no more. Like, why are we still doing this? The conversation is never had about how we about to divvy this up. Because I just bought 200 chicken wings that I thought we was going to sell this week.
Mm-hmm.
And you already knew that this shit was over before I bought the chicken wings. So do I get my money back for this from you? Like, you know what I'm saying? It just becomes conversation that people don't have. And when you say it's time to pivot, by the time it's time to pivot, I've been over this shit.
I mean, but you still have to have that conversation. Like that's the part of transparency that you get from doing business with friends. And you should be able to come to them and say, this is what I'm thinking. This is how I feel. And that's why you set aside time to talk about those things.
Yeah.
It shouldn't get to the point where I got to drag you out to come do something when you could have just said, it's not something I want to do anymore.
And I think important things is keep your receipts. Know what you did.
Right.
Because it might be a time when you need a buyout. Like, we really legit did a business. Man, it's not for me no more.
Right. And
that's, buy my share out. You guys can do whatever you want to with it.
It goes back to what you were saying about uncomfortable. It's not comfortable.
Yeah, like if you feel like this ain't working for you no more, you at least know as a friend that you can come to somebody and tell them, it's not for me no more.
as a friend, we might not be friends no more, but we can talk about it later.
Stop saying
as a friend, we might not be friends no more.
That's you.
But that's just me.
That's you though.
Just gotta be like, I might need some time, and that time might turn into a decade and maybe never. But
that's some wild shit.
Just some time.
Nah, but that's wild.
But I do be needing time.
But that then means you never separated the two.
I know, but it still hurts.
That means you never separated the two.
I try. I process stuff afterwards. Like in the moment, I'm not processing it, but later on when I'm at home on my own and I'm rethinking the things that were said, I might have a different take. So that's just how it works. Like I might just need some time.
I don't come in here with conversations. I don't come in here with like gripes though. Like what would you like? How do you bring gripes to your friend?
Mm-hmm. What would we have gripes about as friends?
I mean, certain structure about shit.
I feel like you do be peeing on my floor a little bit when you come and you get drunk, but that's about it.
That's a friend gripe.
Yeah, that is a friend gripe.
Probably. I ain't go.
You do be pissing all over the place a little bit.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Do you have a gripe with me as a friend?
I don't know.
I always got a problem with somebody.
I ain't never thought about it.
As a friend, I'm a good friend.
Sometimes.
I pride myself on being
not really
good.
Nah, you're a very selective friend.
Okay.
Like you like to be res to people who acknowledge that you res. Like so if motherfuckers buy into this whole idea of get you a res thing, oh you're a res to them. But like everybody else is like, all right, I'm around. Like, but you want them to come to you. Like, the more people that come to you, the more of you they get. Yeah,
actually, I mean, some parts of what you said, yeah. Because when I feel like I like to have an equal balance. Like I know I don't have Libra in my chart anywhere, but it needs to be a balance. Like I don't ever want to feel like I'm bothering somebody. So I do like when people extend the olive branch to me to see how I'm doing. But I'm also of the belief, which isn't realistic, that you shouldn't like have to have a time where you're not speaking to your friends. So in a sense, I'm a needy ass friend. And I reach out a lot to you, but when I stop reaching out, I want to know that you gonna reach out to me because I have abandonment issues. That's what it is. I need to make sure we still good. And if I don't hear from you, then maybe we not friends anymore. That's how I take it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna talk to somebody soon about it, but that's just how I look at it. Like if I don't hear from you, are we really friends? That's it.
Which also goes into it's probably like it would probably be hard. I don't know. You might be a hard business partner to friends, but to people you don't know, you'd probably be a good business partner because then there is where you would. Well, I don't know because you like to make friends with people,
right? Yeah.
So So that's where it becomes a thing. Like
it's hard for me because even at work, I make friends.
Yeah, you're not gonna separate the two.
Some of my best friends I met at work, but working together and being in the business together. It's completely different for me. But let's go ahead and take a break and come back with our final thoughts. All right, so we're back for our final thoughts, and I think there is one last thing that we definitely need to touch on. I know we spent a lot of time this episode talking about things from our perspective or business and working with friends, but let's take it back to the root of this conversation. We know it came from Joe Budden and Rory Amal. Salute to you guys. Been a big inspiration to us, but the situation that's been laid out by Joe is that he did the foundation of the podcast. He put it together. He brought in the guys. It's his podcast. He's the boss. How do we feel about people putting in their money, their time, their equity, bringing in their following to something, and then just taking complete ownership of it? Is there a difference between putting in your money and putting in your time? that makes you more valuable because you put in your money, or do you think everybody should get equal parts for making it hot and playing their role?
I think I just think it's a conversation that you probably need to have before the money is there.
How early do you think
I think it's if you do a business for longer than 3 months, if you do something with somebody else for longer than 3 months, you probably need to start having a conversation.
They have 400 episodes.
They got a Spotify deal at 200.
400 episodes. Do you know how long that is? We're only at 160.
But they also do 2 episodes a week.
Right.
And they've been doing it for 7 years.
And have toured.
Right. So it's like, I think
I even remember Maul having a beef with not being paid for some show or not getting his money for a show. Like, you need to have these conversations early. If you do something with somebody for longer than 3 months, max being 6, you did it for half a year. Because in my head, thinking about probably shouldn't be drinking, it was probably like 4 months. A weekly thing. Because the weekly thing is what bothers you because it feels like forever. But if you do something with somebody for the max of 6 months, you need to start talking about what it is that we about to do with this. Because if we're about to turn this into a legit business, we need to know who owns what, who's gonna do what. Because if I'm broke and my friend has enough money to purchase all of these things, we need to know who name is going to be in. We need to know who does what, whose role is what, who's all of this. Because you never know when something might take off. You never know. So you never know who then becomes, like who they need to talk to. Like who's the person they need to talk to. So I think y'all need to establish all of that early because, hell, you fucking get to a place where somebody want to pay you for something and you don't know who's supposed to get what.
You've never told the group that you feel away or you feel more entitled to whatever splits we're going to get in the beginning. So when the splits come and I feel like an owner too, because I put in equally the same amount of work as you without seeing the money that you put in or whatever, I still show up every week to do it. I feel like I'm entitled to some sort of ownership. Yeah. So I think that definitely breaks the ice a little bit because I think when before we did this episode, there was a clip that was going around on Twitter of Rory and Joe doing an earlier episode, and Joe called Rory an intern, and Rory's response was, "I'm an owner." And I feel like right then and there, after those mics went off, that's when you should have said like, "Yo, like I'm coming into this." And I want a piece of ownership. Now, we don't know if that conversation was had or what happened, but that probably would have sparked something in my head. Like, I know we on the mic and we joking it's entertainment, but bro, like, real shit, I feel like I want a piece of this if something takes off.
I also feel like that's a play on friendship.
What?
Just knowing like, yo, I've been having these conversations with these labels or these brands to do deals with them. And you play on them because it's you. You have the notable name. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just don't think it's fair. This ain't even about this situation. I don't think it's fair because you think you did more of the work. Mm-hmm. That you just deserve the credit.
Yeah, I don't think that's like when it reminds me of like some kiddie shit. Yeah. Like we doing a group project together.
If don't nobody do their part in a group project, we all get an F.
And you feel like you did more, like let's talk about the feelings. Because I've had this happen to me before. Yeah. I had somebody feel like they did more of the cleaning when it was time to get out the apartment and that they deserved more of the deposit. And it's like, how you tell me what you feel when versus our ideas of work are completely different. Like I did my part, you did your part. Why do you feel like you should keep more of what's happening?
I just think it's a conversation that when you talk to people about, you really need to like everybody gonna feel like they did something.
Right. I felt the shit. The whole thing about time being valuable, like you could be clipping your fingernails in the lobby of Open Media Lab and you feel like you done work because you here on Friday and you could be doing something else.
Right. Like I'm a person that I believe in giving credit to people who deserve their credit. I also believe that if Soulja Boy wanted to say he's a reason Nicki Minaj got hot, I'm totally okay with him saying it because it's originally his song that was already hot and she just rapped over it. If he wanted to say that, yes. And I've seen cases where in hip hop where if you rap over somebody's beat, I could sue you and say I need 100% of that because it was my art first. So I feel like what you need to go in understanding, like, bro, somebody might think they deserve more than you.
So I want to jump in here. So I feel like what kind of comes up for me in this whole case is there's like, I think there's a mix between what people put in like physically, that's something that's tangible. So let's say like money, equipment, or house, like the space,
right.
Or and then something intangible like followings or whatever. I would say following is probably more tangible, right? Because there's a number there, right? There's influence there, and then there's also a disconnect of like just like sweat equity, right? Because I think if just going with what we see, right? If like the Joe Budden podcast was never like Joe Rogan, right? He was never really by himself. He wasn't really interviewing people or stuff like that, right? It was supposed to be a group of friends. Like it's always kind of felt like that. So the thing is, if those friends aren't there, do they really take off the way that it's supposed to? Right. And it doesn't discount the fact of, all the success he's had ahead of time and all the work that he's put in ahead of time. But I guess for me, I feel like I'm probably more than fair, but I think that they probably should have had a cut.
Jon Snow.
I don't know why.
You're Jon Snow because you're just so everything has to be fair, and I'm an honorable man, and that's just,
I mean,
there's nothing wrong with it.
Fucking your friends over is not the way.
No,
this is not the move.
No, putting your friends,
like
stepping on your friends,
bro. Let's just keep it a buck. If you could rap really well, but I put the money in, you didn't get where you got on your own.
No,
you're not a self-made nigga. You not this. I built this from the ground up. Somebody financed you, and that was me. Right. So when the back end comes, fam, we need to figure out how we about to divvy this up.
Right.
You not finna get all of you can have all this fame of being the face of this, but I need you to know I helped you get here.
Exactly.
And I feel like what happens is we get to a point where I've made it enough. Now I don't need you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need you now because I've made it.
Right.
And if that fucks up chemistry, a lot of people are okay with it. But I think like E said, I am of the belief that don't fix something that's not broke.
Right.
So if I feel like we had an equal part of this, we all need to be compensated a while. I don't care if Joe tells Rory that he was overpaying them from the jump. Like, fam, how did you get to buy all of this? Like, you got to have control of all of this.
But
it's
then,
nuts.
See, but that's the other thing too. Like, in their particular case, like, they were getting a salary, bro. Like,
the nigga that was rich and got to buy the shit before. We didn't have the money to put in with you. So.
All right, so I feel like let's bring it down to our level, right?
Yeah.
So us, right? We are three people that are, say, hey, we have it. This is an idea. We want to see where it goes, right? So in this particular case, right, I provide the space, the equipment, the service to actually get it done, right? And I understand that that's only half of the work that needs to be done, right? The other half is with you guys, right? There has to be people who are actually going to speak because I'm not going to do it, right? My people aren't going to do that stuff. So if you guys aren't making it compelling enough, it don't matter how good the stuff looks,
right? How
good it sounds, but there's an understanding that, hey, like, even though I might be, I guess, quote unquote,
producer,
but if I'm quote unquote like, if I'm more exposed in the beginning, right? Like that's one of those situations you just like, hey, like there should be an understanding of how things should probably go.
Let's be honest.
Our difference is you don't think you own this.
From the beginning,
don't think she own this. I don't think
from the beginning, though, when it started, y'all did put a lot of it on me. And when I say y'all, I mean Semi, Nick, you were all like, "Oh, this is Rez's podcast. Rez, this is you." And it took for me to say, "No, niggas, it's not just me. It's a us thing." And same thing with E. When we started off, we was like, "Oh, it was a lot of jokes about we don't need E. We could do this without him." Like just jokes. But it took for us to have those moments where it's like, nah, like it sound good, textually active as Rez, but it's not just me. It's an us thing.
It wasn't an us thing. You were the only person that cared about this the most.
Right, but that doesn't make it mine.
So then you and E were the only people that cared enough to make it into a business. Right? Whatever my contribution is of this, I do that out of our friendship. Like, they believe in this. I'm already a part of it. Let me ride with them. You know what I'm saying? So what then happens is none of us think that we own this solely. E cannot come in here one day and say, "Hey, Meezy, you and Rez don't show up. I'm doing Textually Active with somebody else.
Y'all take the week off. I got somebody else to film it."
We can't say we're going to do.
We about to go do it at the studio up the street.
We about to go do it up the studio up the street.
We don't need you.
We don't need you. Like there's gotta be a conversation.
Right. It has to be a conversation
before all of this,
right? It does,
because this is how we've set it up.
But we've also we've been there before, where it's like, oh, one person, but I wasn't the type of person to be like, "Yeah, y'all right. This is my shit. Don't come back." Or he wasn't the type of person like, "Yeah, this is my equipment. Don't come back." We always like, "Nah, we're going to talk about this and figure out how we're going to get to where everybody's position should be."
So I want to clarify.
What?
So when I was telling you that this was yours, the reason why I was saying that was because you needed to be the leader of it.
Yeah, but
right. Mm-hmm. So that was my big thing, right? I kept saying it was yours because my thing is like,
you wanted me to dry the boat.
Yeah, you got to dry the boat.
I mean, in hindsight,
I
still believe that. I mean, I only get my credit because, I'll be the clips that go viral.
So the people fuck with the boy.
Like me, get on and get the preaching. But
okay, get the spitting. Now everybody, Meezy, my nigga.
I don't mind being
real. I mean, to be real about it, like that's where they say like it can't be too many chiefs. Yeah. Right. So my thing is like, yeah, as a chief, you can ask the opinion of your fellow, constituent, the people that are around you. But if you're not going to be the one that's going to drive that, then like I said it, like, yo, like I can't do it.
Like I've been watching The Sopranos. And like,
you were telling us every week you've been watching The Sopranos.
If you've never watched The Sopranos, The Sopranos is like a take of Italian lifestyle, but it's really just about life and how structure is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Soprano is the main character. But I'm on season 3. I just started season 3. Tony Soprano is not the face of this family.
Right.
But he the nigga they come to when it's an issue. His uncle is the boss of this family. Tony not. Like, but they know who to talk to when they really need to get something done. Right. And I feel like that's what happens. Like, fam, listen, I might be hot out here and but like, fam, I come in here and I play my role pretty well. Like, I can show up and lead if I need to, but I'm really just here to chill. Like,
not to chill.
I'm just chill. I'm here to chill. I say what I want.
Talk shit with my friends.
Basically, that's it.
Get
and
creative.
I feel like in our relationship, I feel like we all have equal parts, and it's us as people to decide how we want to do it. If you want to be combative to something, me and E think.
Not you calling a black woman combative.
I mean, I said us. Sometimes black women are the better.
Oh, God.
If you want to be combative to what we said, you have the space to say that because it ain't, none of us have final say. We have to find a way to get to an agreement on this.
Absolutely. And I think that's exactly what the difference is. The difference between claiming yourself the owner without having that conversation with your friends or being a leader of the ship, which is your business.
So just know who the fuck you getting in business with.
Absolutely.
Even if it's your friends.
Have those uncomfortable conversations. You guys have to talk about these things or else you'll get further on down the road and not know what the hell your role is and things just start looking shifty. But I definitely see it from both viewpoints. I hate that it had to be done.
I mean, it is what it is. It ain't as. I mean, whatever they choose to do in the future, less competition with us.
Okay. Okay. More space for a podcast that drops every Tuesday at 6 a.m. We're on YouTube. We also go live on Fridays. All right. We got a playlist too, don't we?
Oh yeah, we here.
Okay.
You're now tuned in.
You are now tuned in.
You're now tuned in on WMEZ Song of the Week. This week the song is from Otis, Kane. It's called One Up, featuring Samaria. Here, Samaria. I might have said that wrong. Somewhere here on WMEZ.
Textually active. All right, so pull out your memes. Let's get into it. E, you're up. You're up, bud.
All right, I got you. You try to get me out of here.
Try to catch you. It's a hot potato up in here.
All right, so Meezy, I want to tell you about a story. All right, about when me and Rez first met. Okay, and essentially when we first met, we went to.
Did you know her name?
Right. Clearly, I didn't know her name correctly, but we went on a date, right, and we went to go get sushi. And, I was just having such a great time and she was having a great time and we wound up like closing out the restaurant. You ever did that, Meezy?
Yeah, of course.
Right. But it was one of those situations when I closed out the restaurant, I took out Rez out to eat and we talked until 12 a.m. because I wanted to make sure my direct deposit hit.
Dang, babe.
Shout out to Corey Sturse on Twitter.
That's funny as shit.
That's a fire.
But niggas, y'all be going through it.
Yeah, but I get paid at like 8 o'clock on a Friday. I never had to wait.
Nah, but that same thing, the funniest thing is the waiter tried to get me the fuck out of here that day because we was sitting there eating and he's like, I went there before. I went there a lot with my roommate. He's like, oh yeah, you guys are back. And it was like, he's sitting there like, what do you mean you guys? Like she came here with another nigga before? And it's like, bruh, shut up.
Oh yeah, too hot.
Shut up.
You probably have though.
No, it was no. I was just eating. I did. I wasn't with nobody. It was. He tried to get me out of here.
No, Meezy, she looking at the camera like, no, I didn't.
Right.
No, I did not bring somebody over there.
You know your vibes.
It wasn't that. All right, Meezy, what you got?
I just want to tell y'all that life is very much too much. Sometimes it's a lot. It's extra. Society, this Western civilization is a lot sometimes. Like, I'm just explaining. Microwaves have like 32 buttons, but you only need about 4, including the number buttons. Look me in the eye and tell me you ever used the 7 button.
When I'm heating up my vegetables.
What number you used?
7
seconds? 7 minutes?
7 minutes.
What number have you ever used?
6.
Why is there a 7?
You're right. I mean, unless you being nasty out here, you microwaving your meat to thaw it out, or microwaving baked potatoes. That's a little weird.
I never needed to push the 7 button on my microwave.
You're right. My meme is going to round out this conversation that we had today, and I'm going to take it back from when we opened up. We opened up with a fab line. I'm going to close out with one. Rather a real enemy than a fake friend. Rather know for sure to be mistaken. You got to know where are we at? Because fake friends been getting along.
Supposed to.
They've been getting along.
Sometimes.
That shit's scary though. Like you never know.
I'd rather be close to my fake friend.
Why?
Because I already know they fake.
And do what?
I don't know about the real friend. The fake friend I know is a fake friend.
How you? No, I don't think you know if a fake friend is a fake friend.
You know who a fake friend is.
I think, yeah. But then I don't be trying to sit in it. Like, I don't be trying to sit in it because I can't do that.
See, you can't do that. But
you would rather a fake friend than a real enemy?
Yeah. I mean, they're the same thing. A fake friend is a real enemy.
Yeah.
If we just keying back and forth online, you're probably not my real friend. But I know.
No. Because there is a thread going on where people are meeting their internet friends and they're having a great time.
Oh, yeah. But also, you know, the people that we talked about this a little bit. People that, oh no, I talked about this with somebody else. But
damn, not you having conversations with other people.
You know what I do. You know, people stealing your swag. Is that a fake friend or a real friend? Because they know what you do already. They supported what you do, and they still did it. Fake friend or a real friend?
That's hard because sometimes you're inspired by your friends. Are they having? It's tricky. It's tricky.
Know who your friends are.
That's true. All right, so this has been another episode of Textually Active. Hopefully, we opened your eyes up about friendships and business.
We gave you a solid 50 minutes because I gotta go pee.
Me too. We will be back next Tuesday for another episode. In the meantime, in between time, you can catch us on our social media pages. You may have noticed that our names changed. We are the Textually Active on Instagram. We changed our Twitter to Textually Active, Textually Act. And we're also on YouTube at the Textually Active. And then I think Facebook is still the same because somebody already had the Textually Active. But yeah. We changed our socials. We'll be there. And we also go live every Friday around 6 o'clock within the 6 o'clock hour. So don't sit on Twitch and wait for us, but we'll be there.
Only black women say shit like that.
All right, we'll catch y'all next week.
Thank you for listening to the Textually Active Podcast. This podcast is a full-service production from the Open Media Lab. Be sure to check in every Textual Tuesday along with following them on all social media at Textually Active Pod. Textually Active is a part of the Open Media Network.